employees and volunteers of these museums, while within the process of working for them, they either rediscovered their Jewish identity, or, in case they were Jewish, they appropriated the Jewish culture as part of their own cultural capital. Yeah. So if we're in a time limit, can you hear? Or shall I still have, yeah.
You can allow the reviewer, and then maybe we can leave a few minutes for you to reply.
Sure.
So then maybe you could...
May I use just this place? It is nicer to have, to be together, and then maybe someone else would be looking to ask the question. Thank you very much. Thank you for your paper. It's perfect to read. I mean, it reads well, and I had an opportunity to convince myself to feel it yesterday, because I received it yesterday. So that's the good condition for me to be brief, and I will try. I'll try very much. As I said, that's the paper which is really fascinating with its material, and that's its strength and probably the weakness at the same time. I imagine that the paper is still under the process. It is not a final version, and I perfectly and absolutely understand that you were really fascinated with the material you have collected. That's healthy reaction, I would say, for the researcher. But then the next step, working on the paper, should be like squeezing it or organizing it in a more disciplined way. You have already done it here in this presentation, just to exemplify your hypothesis, and just not to be the voice of your interviewees. So that's main point. Although I absolutely believe you that it is even worthy publishing as it is in a body. That's the first, even not methodological, it is a technical comment. The second, and I believe it's important, it's the issue of the very title of your paper and a certain concept behind. You call those cities or towns post-Soviet. It's always problematic. On the final judgment before the God, will we still have post-Soviet? It's 20 years past already. But besides this, okay, we can debate or discuss, and maybe this term is relevant, but focusing on your very paper, if you say post-Soviet, then at least someone who has a little even knowledge about the Jewry in Eastern Europe, supposed you or expect you to have something of Lithuania or Latvia. And then what about Russia itself? So maybe it would be more intriguing for possible reader of your paper and more exact and precise if you just name those countries. I believe it would add to the clarity of the story. We don't really need to be those slaves to post-Soviet, whatever it means. And now, as far as I saw the text and the flow of your narrative, I can imagine that it possibly developed two ways, and it's up to you which one you will choose. One is, let's say, purely managerial or applied, just to produce the paper, which would probably help those very institutions to develop, and as I imagine, to face the main challenge, what with this? Well, people are not eternal, so any continuity is a problem here. So that's one line. But then to keep it, of course, as far as theory of management is concerned, you are probably much better than me because I have never studied that. But it is worthy taking into consideration other examples of private collections or private quasi-museums which probably or maybe exists on the very area or outside. I'm not an expert in the issue. I can just tell you that in Poland and Lithuania there are several purely private, even commercial initiatives, you know, to keep museums and to have fun and money of this. So maybe that's the line of certain comparison, like comparatistic approach to give some recommendations to keep, you know, financing and managing it now, and to keep continuity once it becomes an issue. And you can choose another way to study this problem you defined, more academic, less, let's say, applied, but then your main hypothesis that people, like four leaders, do something for themselves should be, you know, regarded with more carefully, okay? And that's probably several very technical and methodological suggestions. Well, they claim they have, they do it themselves from the beginning to the very end, yeah. Still, if you haven't interviewed, for example, the leaders of communities, the local members of so use it. And what came to my mind is that you are trying probably to show that those museums are sort of in opposition to no religious aspect of the community, or something, or alternative. It would be useful to ask them, those religious guys. So use what they told you, because that would show that, as we know from the theory of social memory, memory is never individual, it is always social. And well, of course, those people reconstruct or construct the narrative through themselves. But then you mentioned that they were financed by different supporters from abroad. Still, I believe that if someone gives money or gives even objects, it can, at least he or she can formulate some expectations toward what is exhibited and what is the message behind. So I would follow this line, but those both things are valid as recommendation as long as you choose this, you know, this academic line of development of your paper. Which one would you choose, or would you try to mix them or combine? That's up to you. Thank you.